In this tutorial, I'm going to show you an overview of RS Linx Classic software. This software is used for communication from your PC to your devices. So the first thing we're going to do is click on RS Linx Classic on the icon on your desktop to open your software. Once you've done this, you can leave it this size, or you can maximize whatever you'd like. I normally just leave it this size. And in the there's two tabs we're going to be working with mostly in this software. Again, this is for communications. You're going to be using the one with the little yellow boxes with the blue line connecting them, and that's called RS-Who. And that's the window that you see open right here. And you know that by looking up here at the top of the screen, and it says RS-Who-1. Alright? So that's how you know. And if you click on it, it's going to take you right where you're at already. The other button that we're going to be using is the Configure Drivers button. So basically, right here are the two icons that we're going to be clicking on. Or you can go up to Communications and go to RS-Who or Configure Drivers. So right there is the two that we're going to be using here in this one under Communications. So in this software, all you're going to have to worry with is these two icons. You need to know what those two icons look like because you will see that on a test. You'll also be able to get to the same places by going up here to Communications. So let's go to Configure Drivers, because the first thing we must do is configure a driver in order to use RS-Who. So let's go to Configure Drivers. The first thing we're going to do is go look at available driver types. We're going to hit this drop down arrow, and our devices, the PLC and the VFD and the HMI, are all going to be using Ethernet IPs. So you will be using a Ethernet IP driver, not an Ethernet device, but an Ethernet IP driver. So click on that, select Add New. This is going to have a default name of AB_ETH-IP-1. So you can use that default name. There's nothing wrong with that, or you can give it a name of your choice. I normally always leave it default. So click OK. In this right here, when this comes up, now you have to select which port you're going to be using on your PC. If you remember, this 192.168.1.199 looks pretty familiar at this point if you have already configured your local area connection, which is your PC address. And I can show you that real quick. If we go to local area connection, go to properties, go to this Internet Protocol version 4, double click on that. When you go in here, you're going to see 192.168.1.199. And in previous videos, I had stated that this is the IP address that we're going to set our laptop for the entire class. So it's set for static or manual, because we're saying use the following IP address. This is the IP address that our PC is set for on our hardwired port. And so that's what you should see. So that's why when you set that up before you come here, now you're going to see that here. So we're going to select that, click Apply. And I will tell you to always click Apply. So if there's ever an Apply button that is not grayed out, I would always click Apply, because there are several places in this class and in different softwares where if you do not click the Apply button, it will not retain the settings. So instead of trying to figure out which ones do and which ones don't, it's always best just to click the Apply and then OK. That way you don't have to worry about having to go back and change settings again because you didn't remember that this one was one of those places. So I generally just do that as a precaution. So now we're setting here. After we do that, now you'll see that AB_ETH-IP-1 is running. So now that driver that we had went and configured is running. So we're going to close the Configure Drivers. See right here it says Configure Drivers. So the Configure Drivers tab we're going to close. And now we go right back to the RS-Who. So here's RS-Who. And now we're going to look over here We want to make sure that's set to auto browse, and it's not browsing at this point. And right now we just see the driver here. We still see that AB_ETH IP-1. So now in order to go out and start looking for our devices, there's two ways of doing this. My preferred way is just hitting the plus sign beside of the driver that I'd like. So once I do that, you're going to see that these little yellow block boxes here are actually turning blue. So you'll see it cycling. So once you see that they're cycling, that means that you're browsing. Now you'll see here where you did say not browsing, it says browsing, it says node 192.168.1.3 found. So it's sitting there cycling, and it's actually finding more than that address alone, but it's not updating fast enough to where you can see it. So anyways, what you see here is that you have 3 devices here that are in that IP range. And what I mean by that is that you'll see that the first 3 sets of numbers between the dots, the 192.168.1, right, it all fall within that 192.168.1.199. So basically, that means anything that has the first 3 sets of numbers are the same of what we set our PC for, we're going to see in this window. So currently we only have our PLC, which is here. It's our Compact Logics, and it's got our catalog number there. So we definitely know that it's our PLC. The next one is going to be, even got a little icon of a touchscreen here. So you basically know a panel view plus 1000. You can look at that, and even with the icon, you can tell that is a touchscreen. And the last item here is the VFD. Now that's a little small little icon, but you can definitely tell by now, if you're since you started this class, you should be able to tell that there is a drive. So that there is your VFD, and also it's called PowerFX 525. So that tells you a little description about each device, and also has a little icon of each device. So that is the tutorial, just a brief overview of RS Linx Classic and how to configure a driver and where you'll be using what icons you will be selecting in here. So it's not too bad. Like I said, there's all sorts of other places to click and drag and all that stuff, but there's no need of going anywhere else other than to these 2 icons and to this communications tab if you choose to go the other route. So that's it for this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions.